Okay, the time is now 5:31 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And will you call roll, please?
Martha Wright Martinez, absent. Amber Evios Hinojosa,
Here.
Silvia Bruni, present. Guadalupe Ramirez, absent. Jessica Riveros Villarreal,
Present.
Marta Valdez, absent. Silvia Palumbo,
Here.
Esther Pirova, absent. Priscilla Pantoja, absent. María Yvette Romero, absent. Sandra Cavazos Ayala, Diana Rodríguez,
Here.
María Antonieta Reyes, absent. Maxine Robles,
Here.
Rosa María de Llano.
Present.
We have a quorum.
The next item is citizen comments. I don't know if anybody has any comments to add.
Nothing else to
The next item on the agenda is the reading and approval of the meeting minutes from June 13, 2022. I'll give you a minute to look over them. And then if anybody wants to motion to approve that.
I move to have them approved.
Okay. Motion by Sylvia Palumbo and second by Diana Rodriguez. The next item is communications and announcements, which looks new to me.
Just in case somebody has.
Okay, if anybody has any announcements. Okay. I don't have any announcements other than my agenda items. The next item on the agenda is staff reports, semi-annual committee report to the mayor and the city council.
And this is in your package, just a copy of what was turned in. These are attendance, agendas, minutes from January through June.
So that basically all we need to do is just turn in records.
Yes, and a letter with a summary of what was done. We always send them
Yeah.
contact information
Okay.
for you.
So this is something that they do annually or biannually?
Biannually,
yeah.
Okay, I don't remember that.
I mean, I remember, but I thought we had done a little more, but that's all right. If this is sufficient, that's fine.
Did anybody have any comments or need to add anything to that? It's already gone out like that, so.
Yes, that's great.
The next item on this agenda is discussion with possible action regarding the election of new officers for the 2022 to 2023 year. Yay!
New baby, I
No, no.
Yeah.
My time comes to an end. Next month is my last meeting as chair. So I want to thank you guys for sticking it out with me while I was pregnant and having a new baby at home. That was this was a time I wasn't expecting, but I've enjoyed it regardless. I would like to appoint the nominating committee to select our next officers. And we also do have to be careful on who we pick because we have elections coming up in November. So somebody that is in a position right now might not be in the position come January. And so there is a roster of which, who is in what, representing which council member and seat.
You're talking about commission members that might not be here.
That might not be here.
Depending on.
Yes,
on the-
depending on the election. So it's gonna be like it's a narrow list if you ask me. So for my nominating committee, I would like to appoint Sylvia Bruni, Rosa Maria Dayano, and Marta Victoria Valdez.
She just called that, she's in the south, she's in her way.
Okay.
That's why
She's on her way. So I'd like to nominate them three.
And we should have a slate ready for
The next meeting.
month. Next month.
Yes, the next meeting.
Rudy, Martha, right, and who else?
No, Martha Valdez, she's a new member.
She's a new member, has she been here?
She was in our last meeting virtually.
Oh, virtually, that's right.
But her position, like, since she represents Mercurio, like, her position might change. So
Okay.
that's why I decided to pick somebody that's, you know, not gonna be able to fill that officer position
Right.
because the people that are, it's very limited. And then I just wanted to review, the commission officers on the bylaws for guidance and procedures in conducting, nominations and elections, which is in our packet. If you go, I don't even know what page it is, but,
Already,
it's already in
that
the
part.
okay, perfect.
Article 5.
Article 5 says the nominating committee established under Article 5 consisting of 3 members shall be appointed by the chair prior to the end of current officer terms, and in the event of a vacancy in the office elected pursuant to this article, the nominating committee shall submit recommendations for each of the officer positions for vote by the general membership. Members of the nominating committee are not eligible for an elected office. Nominations may be made from the floor. The officers of the commission shall consist of a chair, vice chair, secretary, and a parliamentarian, as well as any other officers that are deemed necessary to the operation of the commission. Each officer position is for a term of 1 year and shall serve from October 1st through the following September 30th. An officer may continue to serve until a successor is elected, but I hope not. I hope somebody's elected. Elections for officer positions are to be held annually, even if the positions were filled due to a vacancy prior to the annual election. Vacancies for officer positions shall be filled pursuant to section 5.01. And the election of officers shall occur by the commission membership by a majority vote. And then in the event a current officer becomes ineligible to serve as an officer, the commission may hold an emergency election as needed. A person may not serve as an officer in a designated position of the commission for more than 4 consecutive 1-year terms. And a person who has served as an officer in a designated position for 4 consecutive terms is not eligible for re-election and the designated office until the expiration of 2 years after the date. And then the rest goes into the powers and duties of the.
Is Dana parliamentarian?
She's parliamentarian.
You're not the sergeant.
No, she's
Parliamentarian,
parliamentarian.
But that's appointed now?
No, that's part of it, that's part of one of the officer
It's one of the
positions.
officers.
So does anybody have any questions or comments regarding officers? If you are interested in being an officer, I think it would be a good idea to let somebody know.
So let us know.
Let us know if you're
If
interested.
in serving. Yeah.
Or if you want to continue to serve, please let them know so that they can make sure that that position is filled. Lastly, discussion with possible action on the action plan items and committee reports, including but not limited to the following 4. First item is the state of the women's survey. And I'm actually texting with Dr. Reyes. She said she emailed everyone a draft and she needs feedback by this week. The survey is long. We may have to consider a gift for participation to encourage responses. Members can help with that. Dr. Wong should get the final version this week by Friday. Then she should submit the RIB, and as soon as it's approved, we can launch it in SurveyMonkey and print copies. We don't know how long the RIB will take. People are still out in TMU, and anyone can text her or email her regarding the questions if they have any questions or concerns. You had said you did receive it, but now you have it.
Now I have it, and I
Okay.
have a lot of comments.
Okay, yeah, I just started reviewing it like this morning, and I did see like typos and things, and it said that it was due by July 29th.
Yeah, so,
So, if you can just get it to her by the end of this week.
I sent it by email,
Okay,
but then it was a lot, I have a lot of things that I changed, and it was too much to explain. I wanted to check off from the survey, but I could not because it's
Oh,
probably a
it's-
PDF.
Yeah, it's probably a PDF.
Mhm. So I said, I'm gonna give it to Angie and Angie can give it to you. Like a good teacher, I put it in red,
In
pink and red. And some of the questions were not translated, so I translated them. Another suggestion in Spanish, they're using the tú form, which is informal, and I suggest that we use the usted form, which is very formal. Instead of, ¿cuál es tu edad? Well, I put cuántos años tiene, también hay, some usage. Nunca is the one, another one. ¿En qué país nació? Instead of qué país naciste. Because
Yeah.
I think it's more formal.
Sounds better.
Especially for a survey, to address them by the usted. And then some misspelling practically in Spanish.
Thunder?
Thunder, that sounds like thunder.
20%.
Let's do a rate.
And other little things, she was asking if you suffered physical abuse, and if yes to question 34, and that was a mistake, because it was just question 42. And it was twice, it was done twice, so I changed that. And then 45, if yes to question 36, and it was 44. So, things like that, because they did it.
We'll scan it and send
Yeah,
it to her.
yeah, and, okay, I have a scanner.
You can call it.
Yeah, they can do it, I can do it in my office. too.
Okay, and, a very common mistake in Espanol, yo with EH, no, it's HE. And HE from the, and being a Spanish teacher, HE from the auxiliary verb haber, like yo he, tú haces. Nosotros it's hard to get away. So I have to tell her why. So you'd be surprised, many times they forget. But after I say, no, es del verbo haber. Se escribe con H. Y todos, como son sus chiquitos, tienen H, como el papá. That's how my kids would, se escriben como el papá, con H. Okay. So
If
now
you
you
don't
know,
have the scanner, bring
Yeah.
it here and we'll be happy to send it to her.
Yeah, does anybody have any other comments or?
Well, the comment is that it's very well made. It's very thorough. I started with that. It's very thorough. It's very well made. I couldn't think of anything else to ask. I don't know if you all have.
Esther Piroja also responded.
Yeah, and
And
about,
a little bit similar to what she brought
yeah,
up
do you consider undocumented non-citizen, I didn't like that one too much. Undocumented non-citizens part of your community? No, why do we have to say non-citizens? Just undocumented. But when I translate it,
That's what I was wondering too.
Because that is a little bit.
yeah, that's another one that I
Leave it open
Sad,
to some.
yeah.
yeah.
For
that I
some
can
women,
understand.
it's just not what I'm
It is fun.
I wash my car.
That's why.
It happened last time too.
Yeah.
I know.
We haven't
Fun.
seen water.
That's a good idea. Maybe we should ask if like that question is necessary because people are already like.
Yeah, very
Probably
good
like,
idea.
poner ahí en sus notitas, me enseñan
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe this is.
sugerencia de remover la,
Remove that step.
suggestion to remove that
Yeah.
question.
And 62, it says, I worry about undocumented non-citizens in my community. And number 63, do you consider undocumented non-citizens part of your, I think to me that's.
Not necessary for
Yeah.
the survey
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah,
We can just say.
so
Yeah.
neither 62 nor 63.
62.
Le voy a poner omit. We have enough division. We have enough, let's see. Or bias or whatever.
I know.
Does anybody have any other comments to add for the survey?
Maybe about safety, like, I worry about the safety around him or something, like, no more.
More general, not
Yeah.
necessarily
General,
targeting.
but not necessarily like in
the non-
specific, like, because because of my citizenship status within the city or the
We can make that kind of a comment.
Yeah, just you
I still
have
say
any
that, I still say that word, I still say.
Yes, so they do have that.
Like, part of
They
that.
have that
Which
one.
is that?
They have safety somewhere.
That's enough right there.
Yes.
Which number?
I liked one about, I am worried about rising gas and electricity prices because my electricity would have been $700, but because I am in a summer savings plan, it's only $540. Give me
Only
a break. And I don't, my house is not, it's big, 2,800, but I'm at 78, all my windows are closed, no, 500, I used to pay 300, and then they told me, but because AEP charged me 195 to provide service.
Yeah, they do, they charge you.
195 to provide.
Well, keep in mind that that's what we're talking about, these
Yes.
added fees and taxes that we're asking.
And the water is also going up so much. And they told me, I called Texas, it's EXU, my provider, and said, it's the kilowatt hour has gone from 10 to 18 or something because of the gas prices or whatever. But, how are people going to pay?
How are they gonna
That.
pay their light? Yeah, I
Their
know that
light bill.
AEP right now, they're not cutting people off because it's so hot. They can't
Well,
take
but-
somebody without AC and light because they haven't paid their bill.
Yeah.
Never gonna
I-
catch up.
I'm in the summer savings. Hello? And I paid 540, I imagine the ones who are
Only gonna continue to go up.
2,800. I can imagine the big houses with, 5,000 square feet. So, that's one,
Yeah,
that's
that is
one
a good
thing.
question to have.
Yes,
for
to
the
have.
survey.
I already called my councilman yesterday, and he said, well, maybe you should look into other provider. No, you look into why they're charging us.
That is fine.
You look,
That's your job.
no, why? And I told him, Austin, Texas has, the city controls. It's also one same bill for the water utilities and the electricity, one same bill. Because the city provides for both. So they control,
They
tell
control the market.
the market. Not aquí we're,
Cada quien
por
con-
cada quien. No,
That's true.
no, and it's not
San Antonio
fair.
is the same way too.
So that's a very everybody but women's.
Especially single mothers.
Single
or
mothers, imagínate.
Even the older women where the husband dies.
Yeah, well,
before.
that's me, that's
The
me.
widow.
But even then, like when they are
I'm a
like
widow.
married and stuff,
Okay,
like the
single.
woman is the one that takes care of the bills and like looking for the better rates and whatnot,
Le
so
voy a
it's-
llorar a Jorge.
And even if they
Mándame
don't
un
have access
cheque.
to internet to be searching for.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's a whole issue. That's a whole issue on its
Better
own.
rates, like our
No.
they always.
This is, it's serious
It
business,
is.
it's a serious
It
business.
is.
See, but
So
the
your input
document
is
is no.
necessary, if you can get it in by Thursday, just add all your comments to the email or make sure you either call Dr. Reyes or email her.
Yo esto se lo doy a él.
What you wanna add to it. 'Cause I think
Yes, if you wanna bring it.
And you can
If
bring
you,
it in the
if you have
agenda.
any more, ya le puse ahí, omit.
Any other comments or questions?
Sí.
That we need to add.
And the rest of the items I just kind of added so that we can kind of continue to talk to them. The yes, I will vote, we really haven't planned anything yet and midterms are coming, so if there is some, if we still want to do the luncheon, I don't know right now
The
with
luncheon?
COVID.
Oh, wow,
Yeah, I
the
know.
luncheon.
I mean,
Oh,
just
but
throwing it out.
that would have taken a little more planning.
Yeah, no, we have, I mean, we have.
Yeah.
I know. I'm saying if y'all want to do anything now or the next person,
For
We
when,
have
which
a-
date do you?
I don't have it, and I don't have any dates in mind, but we
Is
did
there
have
like a
the.
time, like period where more or less you wanna hold it like in the month of September, October, like where?
I don't have any preference. I'm just reminding you guys of the idea of the luncheon that we held before. We haven't done it this year because of COVID. We haven't done it in the past 2 years because of COVID.
Yeah.
COVID is still on the rise, so it still might be iffy. But if there's something else that you want to do for yes, I will vote, like have a voter registration drive, or I don't know, whatever y'all decide. It's still an approved action plan item that we can do. We have from now until November. I can get it in between this meeting and the next meeting, and then the next chair can take the lead on that as
Well, I
well.
think they have to be registered, I believe, by October the 5th.
October the 5th?
In order to vote in
In order
November.
to- okay,
So
so we
1
have
month
like a-
before the election, they have to be registered.
I know one idea that would circumvent having to do a luncheon but one of the things that I've heard kicked around, which I thought would be a great idea, it's not simply to get them registered, it's to get them out to vote. Because at this point, I mean, we're what, how many days away are we from November 8th? So the idea would be mainly to get people
And
out to
I
vote.
agree with Sylvia, because there are 140,000 registered voters already, because we've been doing this forever, and we're very good at registering. And I know that the elections office, especially Roxanne, they say, no me traigas, new voters. Work with the
One
ones
of the
who've already
strategies
done.
that we were thinking about, and it would have to be nonpartisan, because
Yeah.
would be to get companies in town, including school districts, including the banks, anyone that has electronic billboards, to have them agree to post messages on their electronic billboards that basically is simply encouraging people to go out to vote. That's something that we might want to consider. Nonpartisan, but with messaging that basically is folks, for the primary, over 100, we're close to 150,000 registered voters, 24,000 came out to vote. 24,000. With as much ugly stuff that's circling Texas, 24,000. So the possibility, that's something that we might want to consider. Going out, and it'd have to be nonpartisan. It would have to be
Yeah,
nonpartisan.
nonpartisan, just.
Messaging that they'd agree
Yeah.
to begin to broadcast on their electronic billboards. And so, just an idea.
Definitely
Yeah, that's an idea.
nonpartisan, pero
That's an idea, to reach out to the businesses and
But then again, the
districts.
registration, we
to put
can
on
do it
there.
very simple, because we can do it, is that when we get them to the polls, how do they go? If they go,
Yeah,
it doesn't show in the numbers, in other words.
that's why the yes, I will vote is so important.
yeah.
It's in
Para
the
votar,
survey.
porque para registrar, we can do it. And that's what I was saying, the message to us that do the voter registrations on a partisan or non-partisan basis, don't be registering so many people. Work with the ones that you've already registered, because there's students that we register all the time. And then the citizens the ones that are becoming naturalized, I've been doing that for 30 years, and it's like 150 every 3 months. But, if you register them and you don't touch base with them and let them know, oh, this is when it's gonna be voting, no one. But it doesn't show in the numbers, so like in the totals that when they come out in the primaries.
An idea might be, rather than, when we hosted that luncheon, it was huge. And it was IBC that hosted, and it was huge, you all remember.
Yeah.
And possibly what we might want to consider, instead of a community-wide, have maybe a media convocation, bring in all the media, and then reach out to everyone that we know that has billboards, the school districts, the banks, invite them to an event hosted by the commission. And basically, the invitation or the challenge would be, will you help us get folks out to vote by running messages on their billboards? Smaller than a luncheon.
Yeah.
But it could be that one of the nights might consider hosting something.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Definitely.
Maybe on the billboards, they can say the early voting, and telephone out, something that can stand out, that they can see it, because November the 8th is gonna be the day of election. And then we're gonna have a national voter registration day, what is it, September?
Yeah, I think it's like something
Because a lot of the candidates that are running are doing a lot of voter registration themselves, because they're interested in the race. And,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
What if we buy like the radio stations, like the Z93 or like I don't know which one, like LA, and maybe to pick a day to do like to go through District 1 streets and just announce early voting is taking place right now. Go to your designated voting registration places or elementary schools, and then another day would be like District 2. And it's just going through the streets and just making sure that, they hear it outside of their house. And of course, we would use social media to just go through the main sources just to put it out on social media. Like, exercise your vote to write, And it's not gonna cost us money, we can just,
That could be one of the strategies that we could tell
just
the
like
media to do.
let it voice
Yeah.
it out there and, I'm just thinking.
No, but
of
it's a
when-
clever idea,
Yeah,
it's
that's a
clever.
good idea.
And it gets people hyped up.
Because I remember like back in the day in Mexico, like they would, that's
Do
how they
that?
would get
And
people,
mucho
like,
guato.
as they hagan las trocas for like the latest announcements and
And the other thing that's gonna happen this time around is that they're
Yeah.
going to have centralized, that they've moved, and I think the commissioners already approved it.
Yeah.
Where we're going to have basically, like we have during early voting, that anybody could go
Yeah.
to the fire station.
Yeah.
They're gonna have a number of
Sites.
voting polls that will be open to anyone, no matter where you might be.
Right.
You'll be able to go to not just a couple, a bunch of them, and that's information that we're really gonna need to put out, because people are
Yeah,
not
but
gonna
they
know
have
about
to
it.
put them in different places, like in the commissioners 1, 2, 3, and 4, so it can be spread out. So you don't have to go to your precinct anymore on election day. You can go to any of these polling sites that they're already around, they have them in San Antonio and other places. And it's worked out very well, because people go to to a precinct, and then when they get in line, pues your name is not here, but you don't vote here, you shouldn't be here, pero las van a cerrar, you're not gonna make it across town.
yeah.
So it's convenient, it's very convenient. Exactly. Very convenient.
That's good.
I think that's a good idea, like a media campaign for the Yes I Will Vote for the midterm. We can continue to work on it and get it ready for the next meeting, I guess. or
Let's just
date
bring it up
on
to the council and like whomever wants to, help us reach out. Because, I don't know.
I don't know if we're gonna make it to the council on that one, but we have it approved as like a.
As an item,
item.
okay, so we don't have to get,
No, it's already done.
It's just a matter of contacting the media and like letting us know. Okay.
And then the last two items are just the International Women's Day and the Women's Health Fair. I hope that we can continue to grow both events in the next years. So whoever takes the reins next, I'm always happy to help with International Women's Day and the Women's Health Fair.
Those were pretty much,
But they
those
were-
were done, and they were very
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah, they were very successful.
When do we have the health fair?
In May is Women's Health Month.
May. Okay.
Yeah, and so
We just had one.
Yeah, we just had that one, and
Yeah.
then the county did one right after in the same month. So that kind of like brought awareness.
And you said International Women's Day?
That one's May. I mean March.
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 El Día Internacional de la Mujer. Well,
That's
do we have new business?
You don't have any new business that I can think of.
I would like to tell you something that I'm doing with the poetry,
Okay.
and, but it ties with women. Before the pandemic, I was a frequent visitor to Casa Misericordia, and I would get to read poems to the ladies, poems to, heal, poems to, build them up, ¿verdad? And I started again last month, and then I said, why can't I do this monthly? And I would love it as a poetry, as a poet laureate, and as a women's here for the rate. And I called the project Gracias a la Vida. It's totally in Spanish because all of them speak mostly Spanish, I asked before, do I say some in English? Well, no, they didn't relate to the English one. So I call it Gracias a la Vida. We start with that song from Chile. I don't know if you've heard it. Gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto. Me ha dado los ojos, o dos luceros que cuando los abro, perfecto distingo el blanco del negro, o el negro del blanco. But, it's a very beautiful song. So, and that's what I've called the project, because this is a woman who's very, very torn and very poor, and then she is giving thanks to life because she has eyes to see, ears to hear, and it's very beautiful, and they really get into it, anyway. And then I say poems to heal, and I've called it Healing Through Poetry, and it's for women, for the better women. And I take them journals. I buy a lot of journals now that they're on sale and tax free. I bought a lot and I give them to them so they can write, and I say, these are your gratitude journals. And once we give thanks, you know, it's incredible. And they opened up to me, you know, a lot. So I've been a teacher too long, and so it's easy for me to dialogue with my students or with them, as a teacher with the students, I was gonna
Aside
say.
from the Casa Misericordia, you can go to other, can you go to other places?
Well,
Maybe
I was
once
just-
a month?
I was just thinking of Casa Misericordia because Sister Rosie invites me, but I don't know where other places. I could take it to other, and eventually make, these poems are not mine, they are from famous authors. Gracias a la vida, and then the one I say next to it is called A la Mujer, de Amado Nervo, the Mexican poet, and it's that, el proverbio persa dice, no hieras a la mujer ni con el pétalo de una rosa. Y yo te digo, no la hieras ni con el pensamiento. O sea, and they, oh my God, they really light up. And ¿quieren saber por qué? Sí, porque te califican. Porque la mujer es la colaboradora de la vida con Dios. Y termina, y si hay algo en este mundo que se parece al amor de Dios, es el amor de la madre. Todas emocionadas. That's my, gracias a la vida, and then I different poems. Yeah, but they really, I think poetry heals. I definitely think.
Yes.
And they opened up, you know, there was a nurse there, graduate from the university, a nurse. And of course, I don't ask them anything about that, but they opened up like what they do, and we were just talking about good things, you know, not what happens to them or anything, just, he, because I'm not a psychologist, I'm a poet. And so I work through my words, and so I wanted to present it to you, because then I want to have little booklets, you know, like for Canción de Cuna, would that be also, oh, maybe that would be true for Radio Condition. And I have another project with the poets and with the library, because my councilman asked me if the library offered anything for new mothers. And I said, yes, we have, I'm very proud of the library. The library does wonders, and you know, we should, give thanks to Ms. Elise and all the libraries in Laredo. They do wonderful, wonderful activities, and the community's involved. And I said, yes, we do story time for little babies, and you know, the mothers and the grandmothers come. Then no, for expectant mothers, new mothers, that, you know, so they can treat children well. And of course, the little 21-year-old who shook her baby and killed the little boy, had just happened. And he was asking me for that, and I said, no, but I have a project that I was going to do with a pet program at Cigarroa. Then my husband got sick, and you know, then I didn't do it. But we have a pet program. I think it's still on at Cigarroa.
It's still going.
It's still
At
going.
the high school.
The pet program, it's at United, and
What just goes case by case scenario, like when.
but we used to have a pet program, you
They
know,
actually
the
got a
girls
beautiful
there.
facility at Cigarroa. But it
No,
wasn't
they
that-
just work with the student where like they'll accommodate to you like to be at home taking care of your baby, but they'll still provide whichever day available from the week that you want to come in and like catch up on your studies, and then the rest you do at home.
But Jessica, before, when they're expecting, are they in the school? Or
No, they get instruction at home as well.
even when they're expecting? Oh,
Yes,
this is new.
especially the ones that are like at risk as well.
Uh-huh.
So they just submit the paperwork and they'll be like at home the whole pregnancy.
Oh.
And they'll do kind of like a homebound,
Yes.
but it's the homebound through the PEP, because there's homebound for special ed, and there's homebound for PEP and homebound. Like it just depends on what category, but you still fall under the homebound.
Well,
So they'll still give you the instruction through virtual now.
And is that happening everywhere, Jessica, or just a particular school?
Well, there at United, we didn't have that many. Maybe
Oh, this
like
was United.
United High School.
Okay, but that's what, in Laredo, it used to be United Cigarroa.
Yeah, Cigarroa has a-
They actually had a facility.
yes.
And within the campus.
Within the
Yes.
No, not anymore.
Nothing like
So
that.
that's why now they accommodate to.
Oh, they don't anymore even at Cigarron?
I don't think so. I don't
Okay.
think
Right.
so.
They had the mobile, next to right there.
I just remember the facility at Cigarron.
It was like a portable.
What they do have now is what is called a continuing education for the ones with Down syndrome. They have
Cherish?
the Cherish, like they do wonderful work for them so that they can continue.
That's United. I don't know that Laredo has anything
Yeah,
like that.
so I think that's really, really good.
Yeah.
What United has, and I don't think I have seen it for LISD, but for the students that are like, Down syndrome and after high school, like there's no one to like guide them and stuff. So they keep them in that Cherish for like another couple of years, and they even give them like little menial jobs, I guess you can call it, like,
We had some of the students here.
Yeah, so I think that's really, really, really good too, because, it's doing something great for them.
That's wonderful, but
Yeah.
I would have to
And those
get,
kids get really excited, like, it's very.
see,
The nursing home,
No, no.
adult daycare, such as-
the daycare, well, the daycare, some others are not there, but I would have to look for an audience, but we could do it, it's for the library, because it's
Raining.
raining. No, well, the audience would be here at the library because we have the story, that would be the story time for the new mothers. For the new mothers, and then I would have to look for another audience. I thought I retired from the schools in 2007, so a lot has changed since then. But we would look for another audience, but the audience would start here. That's why I started it with the library, but it could be also a Laredo Commission for Women project, because it's called Proyecto Canción de Niños. If you sing to your baby, Proyecto Canción de Niños or Project Lullaby Plus, sing, canta, cuenta y juega. Sing and I forget what I call it in English, and play. But jueguitos de niños with este es un jueguito. And if you do that with your baby, if you sing songs, if you sing lullaby, and I want to rescue lullabies, from the community. As that poet, rescue Señora Santana. I don't know if you know those lullabies. Porque yo era el niño. The majority of us who were brought here, brought up in the two Laredos, that one. El patito. Entonces, ándale, esos. Sí. What happens when, no, because you were brought up in Chicago. Sí, you were brought up in Chicago, yeah. But can you relate to those songs? And I would like to put them in again and go, and I don't sing anything, but I would songs, you plays, hand plays, juego de manos, we call it in Spanish, and of course tell stories.
Do any of you know if Avance is still in Laredo? Avance, it was a family support program. It was it began in San Antonio, and we had it in Laredo.
I remember
It was a wonderful program. It was designed for mothers and for whole family, but it was primarily for the mother and her children, her little ones, to help her with mothering skills, and it was a beautiful program. But that would have been a wonderful partner for you if it was still
This
here.
would have been because it's nursery rhymes, again, poet, nursery rhymes. And I guess I'm a poet because my mother always sang to us. I mean, she was a singer, and I was the first one of 7. And then I heard them all the time. And then I would sing them to my little baby sisters, because that's the way it was, And
It's not in Laredo anymore.
It's gone.
Yes. Austin, Houston, San Antonio, Rio Grande Valley.
well, that's another project that I want to
There was
present to
here
you,
when-
and with the library, with the poetry, with the fine arts.
Yeah.
And of course, also make a little booklet with rescued songs. So if they don't know them, they can teach them to the grandchildren. Ms. Solis said the grandmothers too, because the grandmothers are in their baby's life, many of them,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's a great idea.
songs, play, little jueguitos and stories. If you tell,
Carry,
there's,
yeah.
there's a lot of stories for babies here, and we have a good program, right, with Jackie. I still have to talk to Jackie. Again, we have a great program here,
Yeah.
and I would start here,
Yeah, I think
and
that's a
then,
great initiative.
and then run with it. A ver, Dios me ayude.
I'd love to see it
Maybe for next year's.
for next year, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so we can,
the
you know,
action
so we
steps
can,
coming
we
up.
can put it in as part of ours and the libraries and the fine arts, because it goes with all of them together. And we can all
And
join.
it fits the mission of the commission, which is to lift up women.
Yeah, the Gracias a la Vida lifts them up so much. You have no idea, Las Caritas, maybe some of you would like to go with me to, you know. I invited a friend and she ended up not going, but it's very rewarding to be there.
It's
And at the Casa Misericordia, and I wanted to, you know, take them chicken from Sam's and salads and, you know, no, there's COVID, they can't take off their mask. Can I take them pan dulce? No, COVID, they can't take off, okay. Yeah, sorry. So later, I wanna do that, you know, because there's like 10 mothers. I would take them something to eat, you know, because with fellowship, we make them feel good, we lift them up. So you're invited, ladies. O si tienen ideas, give your ideas, give me your ideas.
So you're doing a lot of work on that.
Sí,
That's
es que, pues I'm a poet. My mother sang to me, that's why. And I wanna give back to the community. But I was very privileged.
I'm sure we're good.
We were not rich, but we were privileged.
Yeah.
And culturally wise.
Qué bonito.
Very nice.
You know somebody, I hope we can join you and I hope we can make that happen for you.
Sí, en another book, imagínate, tengo un libro de Naomi Shihab Nye, a poet from San Antonio, very well known, that has a lullaby. This one's the book for me, but of course with lullabies from Laredo. You know,
Right,
lullabies, but
the same concept.
yeah, that's it, but the content, we have so much talent in Laredo.
Yes.
So much talent. I'm just coming from the museum, the Laredo Center for the Arts.
Oh.
If you haven't gone to see that border,
Is the art,
yes.
is the display still
see,
up?
it's still August the 20th. It's called, no, it's el de Web County Heritage. No, se llama The Border is a Weapon.
Oh, yes.
The border is a weapon, and it's awesome. And there is one exhibit by Julio Oscuro where you put headphones, and
It's a virtual.
it's a virtual, and you're going through, and there's dirt and everything. There's another one with all boots going to heaven. You know, I don't know if those are the people that drown. I don't know. But
But-
it's up to your imagination. But it's good. I mean, it's good. Then there's another one by Maritza Bautista, and this lady from TAMIU, well, used to be at TAMIU, and she focuses on the casas de cambio, and you know, she has a lot of the casas de cambio, and then yeah, you have to go and see it. And of course, the Web County Heritage has Antiflag. And that's another one. That's what I said.
Yeah.
No, pero this is Laredo talent. And I don't know if you went to see the Into the Woods, the Laredo Theater
I
Guild.
went.
Missed it.
Oh my God, the sing, the acting of those
The
kids.
sing.
Ay, ay, ay. But I love to go to, when I go to New York, I always go to Broadway. No, I mean, I was in Broadway. It was that with the live orchestra.
Oh, yeah.
Don't miss it. Don't miss it.
It's gone.
It's gone. It was but it was here for 2 weeks. It was here for
It
2
was
weeks.
awesome. God, it was.
Sí.
Qué mal.
See, and of course I went with Sylvia can tell you.
I'm in the very front.
I have to be in the, it's not too short.
If I stage, she would sit on
No te
stage.
puedes ver.
I would like to, hey, I'm also an act, I used to come out in all the
That's
plays.
right.
All the plays.
Y también bailaba.
Bailaba. No cantaba, no, Carmen. Besito no.
Dance.
We dance, we went
Yeah,
on tour.
exactly, yes.
Forget to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn the meeting. I don't know if I can motion.
Yeah,
So moved.
I second.
And we are adjourned.
We are adjourned.
That's-
Good meeting.